Darkmoon and Blue Sentinel players commonly complain about the lack of summons. With the high amount of proofs needed for Covenant rewards, players have become increasingly desperate. Some have resorted to farming Silver Knights rather than attempt to be summoned at all. Proofs have an incredibly low drop rate, requiring hours of work even with high item discovery. This was addressed to some degree in a recent patch. Not only were the matching requirements changed, but hosts can now switch Covenant during an invasion. Despite the improvements, it's still especially rare to be summoned to fight an invader. Some players had suggested reintroducing Sin and Blue Eye Orbs, and even allowing players to be invaded when the area boss has been killed. This reintroduces a major problem from Dark Souls 2. A player with high enough Sin would find themselves so preoccupied with blues in their world that they no longer be able to keep invading. At this point, the player would have to spend time reducing their Sin, or even recreate their character if they were promoted to Wretch. With a lowered invasion activity, the system simply falls apart, and there's even less work for blues. With the possible exception of redundancy, I don't think there's actually a problem with the Darkmoon and Blue Sentinel covenants. The primary issue lies in the way of blue. The covenant is especially easy to miss. Even players who find the covenant may not figure out how to use it. The system isn't clearly presented, and it's most needed by players who are ignorant or apathetic. The system might be pretty easy to fix. Instead of requiring players to speak to Emma a second time, Way of Blue would be given alongside the banner, perhaps with a small dialogue prompt as well. The covenant would also be automatically equipped, while it could still be immediately removed. This way, players would have the opportunity to learn about the Way of Blue, as well as have the benefit of the Covenant even if they skip the dialogue due to ignorance or apathy. I'm confident that this change would result in far more blue summons, without a significant change to how any of the systems work. While this would increase the frequency of summons, another problem remains. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Blues are terrible players. They often charge straight for the invader, completely neglecting the number advantage afforded by the host and phantoms. They don't even think to assist the host with PvE threats in the immediate area. Blues tend to be ill-prepared to fight another player, with very little HP in defense, weak weapons, and inefficient spells. Blues should think about who they're fighting. Invaders are geared entirely to fight not just one, but a group of well-equipped, higher-level players. Invaders have less health and less resources than the players they fight, and seeds can nullify what little help they can get. Invaders are some of the most tenacious combatants the series has to offer. They have to fight tooth and nail for victory, often against overwhelming odds. If the blue can't handle fighting that type of player, then they're a liability. Each blue that the invader can kill replenishes 2 Estus flasks, and it's rare to need even one to fight most blues. With blues being such a boon to invaders, it's better for the host to avoid the Covenant altogether. They'd be better off fighting on their own, or with manually summoned phantoms. It's unlikely that FromSoft will improve players' introduction to Way of Blue, nor force it to be equipped early on. Problems with both the host and summoned blues will have to be solved by players educating each other. I can only imagine that the best way to get a host to equip Way of Blue will be to directly message the host as an allied phantom. For summoned blues, they simply need more practice for PvP, and they need to do their research. Thanks for watching.